and welcome to the Far Side Spurs podcast. I'm Wazza, and today we are joined by Stacey. How you doing, Stace?
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you, mate. I've been very, very busy. All work and no play at the moment. I'm trying to get a certain station finished and open to the public.
Yeah, I mean, you worked all weekend, didn't you? Apart from right up until when, maybe you should have worked a bit longer on Sunday.
Yeah, I got home to put on. I was faffing around trying to find the football, put it on, and they scored. And I was watching it on my phone on the train, so I missed bits of it. Obviously, travelling, getting off the train. So what I see in the first half, obviously happy, and then come home to watch the last.
Yeah, I'm quite superstitious. So if I'm watching the game in a certain situation, or if I'm listening to it because I can't watch it or whatever, and we're doing quite well, then that's it. I just, I'll stay in that situation. I've sat in the car outside the house and watch the rest of the game on my phone or listen to it on the radio rather than come in, because at that moment we were doing really, really well. And I just didn't want to upset the whole sort of balance of, because obviously that makes a big difference, in my opinion. Also, we're joined today by Jamie. How are you doing, Jamie?
Yeah, all right, mate. I'm cosmic. I'm my usual cheery, negative, happy self. I'm doing all right, mate. Okay, done a lot of walking recently, and my legs are bloody hurting.
Was it walking or drinking? Because every time I see it, it's I don't see you walking. I see you drinking quite a lot.
Well, I didn't walk to Battersea Park yesterday with a can of Heineken in my hand at sort of 9:30 in the morning. So I do have standards, mate.
Well, all we saw was a stock picture that you could have taken from the internet and just posted up there. No one has any evidence that you actually walked anywhere.
I'll send you my bank account, mate, and I'll send you my Steps app so I can prove it. I paid a little kid a tenner to take my phone around Battersea yesterday so I could show everyone that I walked 12 miles. So it's working out well.
The best way to do that is obviously just get yourself a pet or get yourself a dog, strap the Steps thing to the dog and set it on its way, and then you can
go for it, mate.
You can rack up loads of steps.
We need a GPS track one, and look at that Barnet as well.
Yeah, had that done today.
Yeah, that's why you're looking super happy today.
Well, it's funny, the barber, because my wife's cut my hair the last 2 times, and she proper fucked it up the last time. I went in the barber's today, and he was pissing himself how awful it was. But it doesn't matter, because I only see the front and the sides, so I don't care what's going on in the back. So, I mean,
just would you have done a better job on your own hair than your wife did?
Yeah, I think I would have done a better job blindfolded, mate.
So why didn't you then? So you're very. I think you should be grateful for the job that she did, because otherwise the side of your head could have looked like your beard.
It's just a little bit patchy, I'm not 16 yet, so it will get thicker like Stacey's anyway at some point.
I hope so. Anyway, enough of that bollocks. We're also joined by our very special guest today, Abbi Summers. How are we doing, Abbi?
I'm doing good. Thanks so much for having me.
No, you're welcome. Very welcome. Apologies for that.
It's all right, Jamie. Your beard's okay. Your beard's all right.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
It's better than mine. Certainly better than mine. I have to keep it this length for a reason. There is a reason that I keep it this short.
It's funny.
It's better than mine as well.
It's funny. The last pod I was on a couple of weeks ago, I was bullied for an hour, and it looks like it's going to continue. So bring it.
Well, you've had your bullying now. I think we can move on. I've got it out of my system. So I'm happy.
Thank you.
All right. So anyway, we'll kick off. Obviously, only one place to kick off. So we'll kick off with review of the Palace game. So, I've checked Twitter, and apparently we were shit. So Abbi, we'll start with you as you're our special guest today. What were your thoughts?
Not the worst I've seen us. So I guess that's a positive. Not the best I've seen us, but I guess that I haven't seen us play well. Well, I thought Leicester was probably our one of our better games, even though there was a lot of sitting back, a lot of soaking up the pressure. But, I was always this advocate for lovely, flowing Pochettino-style football. And I've now come to the conclusion that obviously, we've got to move on, we've got to move forward. And that might not be the way anymore, because with Jose, you're not going to get a lot of it. You're going to get a lot of that sitting back. You're not going to have a lot of possession, but you are going to go on the break. And if you're clinical, like we were against Leicester, then there's an argument for it. And you can say, okay, then it's never going to be pretty, but you might win something at the end of it. However, prior to the last kind of 4 matches or so, if it was how it was when it's awful football and you're not getting the points, then that's where the issue is. Palace, I think that obviously, look, there was something to play for. They got it done in the end. Results went our way also. I think there's a lot of work to do. I think that we've kind of just managed to get ourselves over the line, as we tended to do also last season as well. But I mean, I don't know how long crowds, if we go back to the stadiums, will enjoy that type of football. For me.
I mean, it was interesting. I don't know if you heard or watched the Mourinho interview after the match, and you know they were speaking to him, and he was projecting this air of, you know, positivity and just happiness about the result and achieving the Europa League spot and everything. And they spoke about the game, and he mentioned the fact that he had a point where he was going to make a substitution. He said it was going to be a positive substitution, you know, an attacking substitution. You know, we've got no proof of this, but you know, this is just what he said. It's going to be a positive substitution, an attacking substitution. And then he checked and asked what the Wolves score was, heard that they were losing, and then he just said, well, then I just decided to manage the game. So for him, the ends justifies the means, and the ends was that we needed to better Wolves' result to ensure that we secured that position. So the fact that we were doing better than they did, and they were 2-0 down, which meant it harder for them to. Then he was just like, well, okay, I don't need to be positive now. We just need to manage the game.
I think you can say that on the last game of the season. I think that, you know, no one really cares. You're just happy for that full-time whistle, and everyone's like, thank God, this season has been the longest season, and like so many just weird things and things that you just wouldn't have thought happened just finally ended. So I think he's obviously trying to maybe, like, everyone says that he's very negative, and you know, you can see that in the style of play, in the style of football. So I think that he's got to get fans on side, and I feel like fans are coming on side a little bit more. You know, the game management thing, that's fine. You know, it's always nice for a manager to be like, well, I manage the game well. I mean, that's what you're paid for, 15 million a year. So glad he did that. Yeah. I just, my only thing is that I feel like we've got a lot of work to be done in terms of, I think that we need quite a few more bodies to come in to better us. And I just fear that I don't think that we're going to get, not necessarily what he wants, because he's taken the job. He knows he's not going to sign an Mbappe. He knows that's really not the route that Tottenham are ever going to go down. But I mean, it's just, I think it will be a bigger challenge for him than probably any other club he's faced. And, you know, when he was at United, he said, you know, what an achievement it was finishing second with that team, which in theory, yeah, it was an achievement. But if he thought that was bad, I think he's got a bigger task on his hands here, because I think there's far more work to be done. Not up front. I don't think our issue is going forward, really, by any stretch. I mean, give Harry the service, give Harry the ball, he'll win you games. But it's the midfield and it's the defence. So I don't know. I'm just a bit on the fence with it still. I
mean, you mentioned the his achievements at United, or how he packaged his achievements at United, and I guess that's part of that's part of what Jose Mourinho is his ability to sell himself. And as I say, the interview from yesterday was him selling the positives and finding the positives. Stace, did you find any positives in that performance yesterday?
Not what I see in the second half. No. Ball retention was bad, and how we passed the ball to each other was not very good. And Sissoko lost the ball, obviously, a few times. We've played a lot better than that, and that was poor. The first half, what I see of it, obviously 20-25 minutes, we played a lot better in the first half than we did the second half. We had more of the ball against Palace than we've had any other the last 3 games, haven't we? It was what I see. It was 50-50, at least 50-50. Well, they didn't have it, and we didn't have it. It was
exactly. And I'm not a stats person. I don't really follow the stats, but I mean, I saw a tweet saying that we had 53% of possession, and it was an ironic tweet. We had 53% of possession, so we should have won. Because everyone moans that, well, we only had 20% of possession or 30% or whatever it is, and we won, but only achieving that. So having more possession doesn't necessarily equal guarantee results. And Abbi, you mentioned the free flowing football under Poch, which I don't think it was always the case. I think we kind of
fresh and high energy Poch, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
But it was always possession based. It was always possession based. It was always about retaining the ball. So for a team to then kind of go the opposite, and have that where it's like you don't need to retain the ball, you just need to hit them on the break. For a team like Tottenham, which has never really been that type of team, or part of the odd game where it's a tactical thing, I just think it's quite a big change in culture, which I think that maybe they've now started to get, but I think it's taken a long time to get it.
100%, and that's the thing. I think he's Mourinho's trying to. I don't know if he's actually said this, but I think he's trying to control the game without having the ball. So control the space and control the opposition without having the ball. And then when we have the ball, we try and make the most of it and we capitalise on that. And I think that's where probably, the performance from yesterday makes it doesn't look so good, because we weren't as clinical. I think we had a few players for me that were off, were off just off their game slightly. Yeah, maybe, slightly off their game. Davies, for example, going forward, I thought, was very, wasteful with the ball, whereas normally he's a lot more decisive and a lot more positive. Jamie, what were your thoughts? Was there any positives? Who stood out for you?
Well, the positive was that we got the job done, didn't we? We got the point. Luckily, the Wolves result went our way. But at the end of the day, in terms of respectable, I'm not particularly that bothered about sitting back, controlling the game. I said on the last pod I was on a couple of weeks ago about that Mourinho quote where if you don't have the ball, it doesn't mean that you're not in control of the game. And I think we're seeing that. But at the same time, everyone's banging on about this beautiful football we played under Poch. And at the end of the day, we can all bang on about, being in Monte Carlo and flirting with, the world's most beautiful models in the world and that. But if you don't get any action at the end of the day, then it's all for nothing, isn't it? So, do you know what I mean? If we're getting results, I don't care what I'm looking at. But, everyone's going on about, this counter-attacking football's negative. It's really boring. I bloody love it. We soak the pressure up and then bang, we annihilate within seconds.
I think the counter-attack, the pace that we counter-attack at is exciting to watch. It's impressive. We go back to front in 3 or 4 seconds and we'll end up with, usually a threat on threatening their goal. So that's been a massive turnaround in terms of what we look to do, because under Pochettino, certainly at the end, we would win the ball back and you think, go on, go get at them. They're out of balance. That, we could probably, counter attack here, and the ball will go back. It'll go across. We'll switch it. We'll let them get back into position. Yeah, let them get back into position.
Yeah, exactly.
And then try and break them down rather than looking to optimize what we have. And in players like Moura and Sonny and fucking hell, Kane. I mean, Kane has been. He's setting up the attack and then getting on the end of the attack.
Oh,
so
he's so good. I wish there was someone that could pass balls to Kane like Kane passes balls to others.
He's got to pass the ball to himself, I think. At the
he's
moment.
Good.
His passing range is, is unbelievable, and he's
the all-round footballer.
He is, and I think he's, very rarely, I don't think he gets enough recognition throughout the country, apart from by Spurs fans. Even the pundits, when they could be looking at his game and kind of saying, look what he's done in the game. That pass, the pass that he played out to the wing, where it's just like
Lucas.
Fucking old. That pass was just sublime. And think, well, do they talk about it? No. How long can he stay at Spurs? How long